Coming up, we have stories about catching a cheater. The silent treatment, is it deserved? ? Child endangerment. Can't wait to read that one. Being falsely accused. Brother marrying your childhood bully. Forced into being a stay-at-home spouse and a happy ending. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with a Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITA and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Letting My Boyfriend Listen to What Someone Told Me About Why He Cheated? So here's the situation. I recently found out that my boyfriend cheated on me. It was about the boyfriend. Indeed, he was the he. He is he. It was a devastating blow, but I decided to confront him about it. When I did, he admitted to it, but started giving reasons, like he was going through a rough time, felt neglected, or whatever. Honestly, I'm still processing all of it, and I didn't know what to believe. A friend of mine who was aware of the situation decided to have a candid conversation with my boyfriend. They sat him down and asked him why he did it. They got him to open up about his reasons, which were mostly excuses, in my opinion. My friend recorded the conversation and gave it to me so I could hear his side straight from him, without any emotions clouding the conversation. When I let my boyfriend listen to the recording, he was furious. He said it was an invasion of his privacy and that I'm making the situation worse by dragging other people into our relationship issues. He feels betrayed that I let someone else get involved and thinks I'm wrong for listening to what he told someone else about why he cheated instead of just dealing with it directly between us. Now I'm wondering if I crossed the line by involving my friend and letting my boyfriend listen to that conversation. Am I the astronaut? Okay. We've got a relevant comment here to read first, and then we'll start diving into this. Top comment is NTA, LMFAO, a betrayal. This piece of shit has the audacity to talk about betrayal. You should post the audio clip to his social media and let his friends and family decide which is the worst betrayal. To hell with this asshole. Why are you still calling him your boyfriend? Good point. Good point. And for you, OP, I understand wanting to have a version or wanting to know why. And this was the only way that you were going to find out why, was by getting someone else involved. I'm curious, though. Let me scroll back up, because if you got the other friend involved purely to covertly record him, depending on what your state has to say about, one or two party consent, it could be a problem, but you're not using it for any kind of damning evidence in a civil or criminal case. You know what I mean? It may be inadmissible in court, but other than that, it's for personal use only. I don't know if the law gets into that side of things here. I don't think it was smart to let him listen to it. If it was for your benefit so that you could hear what he was saying and remove the emotion like you said, which is still hard to do when you're listening to something, even if it's a recording. Ask Kaylor from Love Island. She watched a video. There was no emotion removed from it at all because Aaron was a dumbass. If you know, you know. Love Island peeps. Letting him listen to it, I don't know what the benefit was there, except unless you watched it or listened to it, and then while trying to talk to him about what he said, you had to then come clean about having that evidence. Of course, people who have been exposed flip their shit when exposed, and as soon as you give them any kind of morsel that they can hang on to and try to exploit and turn into a bigger thing to minimize what they've done, of course they're going to do it. Of course they are. But he can't call that a betrayal. He can't. He can't call recording a conversation where he finally opened up about why he cheated a betrayal when he actually cheated. Like, if he's going to make as big of a deal out of that, let's put it to a math equation, okay? Let's say his flip out scale about you record or having this conversation recorded is a 5, okay? Flip out scale, that's a 5. So if that is worth 5 flip outs, then him cheating should be worth what? 100? 500? Something exponentially greater than recording a conversation. If he's making that a big deal and putting that much stock into it, it has to apply to him too. So for the question, am I the astronaut for letting my boyfriend listen to what someone told me about why he cheated? I don't think you're an asshole. I don't necessarily think it was the best move letting him listen to it, but I guess you didn't have a choice. You could have just told him, hey, I listened to this recording, or better yet, said, hey, I talked to my friend who you talked to, and here's what I learned from that conversation. Because if your friend told you he'd have no ammo here at all, right? Never. It was, Angel agree, he'll never confide in that friend again, but I think it was her friend. A friend of mine who was aware of the situation decided to have a conversation with my boyfriend. Oh, okay. Hold up. The friend decided to have the conversation and record it. That was not OP's decision. Super NTA. Even the little tiny bit that maybe could be NTA because it wasn't your choice, it was the friend's choice. He is trying to minimize what he's done by blowing up what you have done and turning it into a thing, unknowingly making what he's done a bigger thing. Because if you listening to this or talking to him about it, again, is a big deal, then what he's done is a massive deal. I don't think, sometimes we dudes aren't the smartest, but not all of us. This is not an all of us kind of thing. This was definitely a brozo move. And him trying to worm out of it by being like, well, you violated my trust, so now we're even, right? No, that is not how this works. To the commenter's point, though, OP, why are you still calling him boyfriend? Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITAH and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Giving My Husband the Silent Treatment After Finding Out That He Went on a Last Date with His Ex a week before we got married to make sure? Speaking of Love Island, this is some kind of bullshit that would happen on Love Island. His ex was always the one that got away, according to everyone around him. Well, let's red flag that right now. That's an unfortunate thing to hear. He ended things because he didn't see a future with her, but everyone around him was shocked because she's so good and beautiful. Then we met, and I soon understood that everyone from his side preferred her. I even heard some call me the Camilla. Although I am neither much older nor less attractive, in my opinion. I love how I look, even if I don't tick all of the beauty boxes like tall, blonde, blue eyes, etc., like his ex. He never gave me any reason to doubt him, however. He gave me the impression that he knew exactly what he wanted. He was secure enough in his heart that he told me he loved me a few months into our relationship, and I never felt like he was lying or that I wasn't enough. He is fully aware of what people think about him leaving his ex, and he gave the impression that he thought they were silly and childish. He told his mom that I am who he chose, and if she wanted a part of it, she needed to clean up her act. Okay, green flag. We got married 3 years ago, and now, only now, I'm finding out that he went on a date with his ex a few days before our wedding. He wanted to know for sure that she wasn't like everyone around him thought, the one who got away. He wanted to make 100% sure. His mom told me gleefully when she visited our new baby and looked at my daughter and said she wondered what would have happened if he changed his mind after that date and she was visiting their baby now. Hold up. What the She said what? Okay. There's more. There's a little bit more of the story, but I just want to take time out, because this bitch visited your home when you had just had a baby and was like, oh, I often wonder what it would be like if I was visiting her baby right now. Out! Get out. Do not hold baby. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 twatopotamus dollars. You will not disrespect my wife that way. I don't give a shit who you are. And I would hope, OP, Candy Thunder, I don't care who it is, I hope you don't let people disrespect you like that in your own home. And you say, get the out. Game on. My husband and the one who got away's baby. With a sigh, but gleefully. You know what I mean. I haven't spoken to him for a week, and I hate silent treatment, but I just can't talk to him. It isn't something I am doing to punish him or manipulate him or get the upper hand and control him. I just can't look at him or talk to him. Am I the astronaut for this silent treatment? Edit! He was there when it happened. He told his mom to shut up. Then he admitted that he went on a date and admitted the reason his mom told me was the truth. Hatter, you got 2 commercials? Like randomly in the middle of the stream? That shouldn't be happening. I've got it set up to where it doesn't insert them in the middle of the stream. Only after the fact. In the beginning, like when you first come in, maybe, but no. Okay, let's go ahead and confirm this. This is definitely an NTA because the question is, am I the astronaut for giving him the silent treatment? Hold up! Is the silent treatment all we're gonna do, OP? The crime don't fit the time. And pardon me for being a little bit tainted here. I'm a little bit jaded because of Love Island, but I don't think the 100% sure real test didn't involve keeping his pants on, if you know what I mean. If they went to lunch, I think he went to an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's not okay to do to someone that you say that you love, that you say you want to spend the rest of your life with, unless it was like an empty marriage. But they didn't have a child then. There was no reason for him to do that. And you know what I mean? He wasn't getting married just because they had a kid. As far as we know, it wasn't like a familial thing. It wasn't like a merging of families thing. It wasn't a political marriage. It was a standard, I love you, let's spend the rest of our lives together marriage that he just wasn't really all there for. And I do not understand why he would risk this. I don't understand. His mom, we know, is a driving factor behind this, and whoever else is in their sphere of influence that is spouting this shit. People chirping in his ear. Here's what it comes down to, OP. Hubby's going to have to make a choice. Because at this point, if this bitch of a mother-in-law, let's go ahead and call it what it is, she's a bizzo. You don't have a mother-in-law, you have a bizzo-in-law. If she is still disrespecting you this way, it is not going to stop. She is going to use this child against you. She is going to rope your husband into doing some really stupid shit. There has to be a choice made right now, and it should have been made years ago, but it has to be made today. Hubby has to decide if he's going to choose the family that he made or the bitch-ass family he came from, and decide firmly. There's no wavering here. There's no, I need to be 100% sure taste testing bullshit. You weak-ass piece of dung. You choose 100% all in or all out. Because right now, he ain't all in. Still, he hid it for this long. It came out. He's allowing his mother to talk like this. He said, shut up. That's different than get the f*** out of my house. She knew the consequences weren't going to be strong enough to put a dent in anything, so she's still going to go for it. What's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to say, shut up. Okay. You know her face whenever he said that too. She does the eyebrow raise like, I'll shut up, but doesn't mean I'm wrong. Her, him. He's got to make a big decision here. And you, OP, I hope, I'm worried for you because right now you're asking if you're the asshole for giving him the silent treatment. I want you to be asking if you're the asshole because you're forcing him to make that decision and giving him 24 hours to do it, to get the out with his mom or cement his place with this family. He's got a lot more at stake now. It's a big decision. It should be an easy decision. And if it takes him more than 1 minute, he's gone. Why did his mom know, Lally? Good point. Why did his mom know? Because she facilitated it. I guarantee you she's the one who stayed in his ear and was like, don't you believe you should just have one last lunch with her before you marry this other girl? You've got to make 100% sure now, don't you? Yeah, she was 100% part of it. He's got to break free from her manipulation and her grasp before his relationship and this family is ever going to work. Otherwise, he is allowing himself to be controlled. He's allowing every bridge to be burned. He's allowing his mother to ruin his family. He's got to pull it together. He's got to pull it together. That's it. He's got to pull it together. Anybody within this sphere that is treating you like this, that is saying they liked her better, they don't get to be a part of your lives moving forward. It's time to choose. Blah, blah, blah. Hello there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is gonna be heavy as hell. Okay, let me give you some trigger warnings before I even dive into the title. Trigger warnings for child and domestic abuse, possible grooming. We normally would not read stories like this, but feel that this subject needs to be discussed. People need to be aware, and we know there are people in chat who have lived in situations like this one, and we want your help to bring to light this topic and help the world navigate it. Our eyes have been opened through this channel, which is 100% true. Candy Thunder wrote the intro for me there, and we had this conversation earlier tonight. Our eyes have been opened, and we have learned so much from you all, and from the stories that we read that leaving a situation is not always possible. Leaving is incredibly difficult sometimes, and sometimes things get really bad before anything can be done. This is one of those stories. Title of this story from AITAH is, Am I the Astronaut for Losing It on My Husband for Not Taking Care of Our Newborn the Whole Time I Was at Work? Using a throwaway, don't need anyone in my real life finding out this shit show is my life. I'm 23 female, my husband is 28 male. We've been married for 4 years, together for 5. We met when I was 17 but didn't officially start dating until I was 18. My husband has done a lot for me, paid for entire semesters of college when my parents refused to complete a FAFSA, encouraged me to take out loans when he and we couldn't afford to pay for my tuition entirely, moved me away from abusive/toxic family members, but I'm really struggling with this. I had a baby 9 weeks ago. It was a rough birth. I was laid off from a really awesome job working in an office as a customer service rep due to budget cuts while pregnant. My husband swore he'd take care of us, we'd be able to survive off one income, etc. All that bullshit. I went through what little savings I had with a quickness because even though he talked a big game of taking care of us all, he still insisted that I pay my share of the bills. I'm still in unemployment appeal hell. I was applying to jobs left and right up until I was 38 weeks pregnant and realized no one was going to hire me so close to giving birth. I have a bachelor's degree and literally ended up getting a waitressing job at a Cracker Barrel just so I can have income coming in. My husband works a federal government job and has 12 weeks of paid paternal leave. He promised he'd watch over our girl while I worked to save money on daycare. I've been at this waitressing job for a little over a week. It's tough going from an office setting to being on my feet all day. I'm in a lot of pain, but having some job is better than no job at all, so I just deal. The quality of care that my husband has been giving our daughter is getting worse and worse. I come home to her not being changed, not being fed, or her blowouts are so bad she has shit up her back. I've tried talking nicely. I've tried being reasonable. I even suspected he had male postpartum depression or some shit, and he told me he just couldn't connect with her, and all she does is cry, and it's grating on his nerves. Today was the worst one yet. I came home to my daughter still in her crib, still in the pajamas she was in the night before, after I laid out clothes for her. She was red in the face from crying so much. I started to warm up a bottle and asked my husband, when did he last feed her? His answer was, I don't know, I haven't given her a bottle today. She cries every time I hold her. I just lost my shit on him. All hell flew through me and I couldn't contain my anger. I called him a piece of shit, neglectful father, and asked why the he'd knocked me up / refuse / make me feel bad for using condoms if he wasn't going to take care of the child he helped create. I'm working 8-hour waitressing shifts, making $3 an hour plus tips, still bleeding, feet constantly hurt, trying to dry up this breast milk, all while putting on a fake-ass smile and trying my damnedest to make money in tips to have enough to bring home and pay for my share of the bills every 2 weeks. I ended up locking baby and myself in the bedroom and told him to just off and leave us alone. Managed to calm my daughter down with a bottle, a bath, and now she's napping, but I'm still angry. My husband told his mom, I guess, and tattled on me. My mother-in-law decided to message me and give me a hard time because he doesn't know what he's doing. This is his first time being a parent. And yeah, I pushed a 7-pound watermelon out of my vag, and I'm still not neglecting my baby. I'm so angry and tired of this. Our daughter deserves better. Hell, I deserve better. I sent him a text that he either needs to shape up or ship the out, and his response was, where are you going to go? And now I'm just beyond angry and frustrated with him and his level of care for the child he helped make. I'm even more angry that he ran to his mommy, who can say something shitty to me but can't come over and help her son if he's feeling overwhelmed. My head is spinning and I just need someone to set me straight. I kept wavering back and forth on if I'm the asshole or not over this. I just want my daughter to have a competent father and not a neglectful one. If I could up and leave him to make him face reality, I would, just to show him I'm not around. There's an edit and there's an update, but god damn. How is this humanly possible? How is it possible for a human being, let alone this child's father, to just sit there and do nothing while it shits and pisses and cries and is starving? This requires enough evil inside of a person to let an innocent child literally sit there and suffer in front of them. They have to be unaffected. Is this like an extreme disassociation? Is this a psychological issue or is he just a piece of shit? I don't care. You know what? I don't care what the issue is. I don't care if there's a clinical issue. You don't let a child sit there and suffer and then make your wife go work a waitressing job and force her to pay her share after saying that's not what you're going to do. This is not a man of his word at all. This is not a man at all. Edits for the guys saying, leave now. I have $6 to my name. If I could leave, I would. I'm going to social services on Monday. The domestic violence hotline was able to connect me with one shelter, and they're trying to find placement for us for the weekend. Stop messaging me that I should have aborted my baby or given her up for abortion. If I had known my husband would be so awful at taking care of her, I would have never had her at all. Can't exactly turn back that clock. Some of you guys need a lesson in empathy. I do not want this to continue. Edit 2, shelter won't have space for us until Monday. Literally asking old coworkers and 3 friends I have left if they can loan me money to get a hotel room for the weekend. I have a to-do list for Monday with social services and calling lawyers and seeing whatever the hell else can be done next week. This sucks. I feel horrible for my daughter and keep going from crying to being angry and full of rage again. My daughter deserves better, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure this never happens again to either of us. Thank God I have an IUD and he can't knock me up again. I feel both hopeless and just wanting to escape again. Here's hoping I have some success and can update y'all on Monday over everything. Edit 3, to clarify, I'm not having sex with my husband. I got the IUD to have a more permanent birth control since he was pressuring me to have sex before I was ready, even before the 6-week mark. I do not want to end up with another kid / Irish twins because of his refusal to wear condoms. I'm going to call lawyers on Monday to talk about divorce. I don't want to be with him any longer, and I want better for myself and my daughter. I didn't expect this post to blow up with over 500 messages in my inbox, but you guys, I'm trying. I'm trying my best to get away from him and keep him out of our lives for good. Before we dive into the updates, when was this post originally made? 2 days ago. We might need, I don't know. Before we get into the update, I'm going to spend a second reading the comments here. Frankie, I want to give OP a hug and a bunch of supplies. CJ's thoughts, I'm proud of her. You do what you have to. Angel, yeah. What kind of shit grandmother defends that shit? Who knows? It's got to be so minimized to her. I mean, she made this piece of scum, so I don't know. Maybe she is that evil as well. But it has to be so minimized to her that she's not understanding how neglected this infant actually is. You can't not feed an infant. You can't not change an infant's diaper. They are so volatile. They are so fragile as new babies that all of those things can be life-threatening. Any of those things. And he's doing them all with no regrets whatsoever. It's just like, oh, she's annoying, basically. She just cries when I hold her. I haven't given her a bottle today. This is just evil. There's all there is to it. And OP being in the position where she was financially abused and got the bait and switch from him too, that he was going to support her and then forced her to pay her share of the bill still. This is so controlling, but to what end? I do not understand his motives here at all. I don't understand. He doesn't enjoy being home with the baby. So what benefit does he gain from forcing her to work and him staying home? I do not understand the benefit. What does he win here? Just control and making everyone suffer? Is that a gain for this sick? This was a pivot though. Apparently he wasn't like this before. So what this is what we mean by sometimes it's not easy to get out of a shitty situation. She had $6 to her name. He made sure of that. He made it as hard as possible for her. He trapped her. All right, let's dive into the update. Hi guys, I'm back with a small update. First things first, I ended up taking my baby girl to the hospital last night. After my soon-to-be ex-husband left to go drink or do whatever, I waited until he was gone and packed a small bag with all of our important information and went to the emergency room since my daughter's pediatrician is closed until Monday. She was looked over and they kept her overnight for observation after I told them everything. She had a rash, they tested for a UTI, and I expressed my concerns over her having shaken baby syndrome, which wasn't something that even crossed my mind until a lot of people mentioned it in my first comments. The emergency room doctor said she was alert and bright and very unhappy with the IV. She cried so hard when they stuck her with the needle, so they wanted to observe her first before putting her through a CT scan. She was dehydrated, so they had to have an IV put in. I think I got maybe 4 hours of sleep throughout the whole ordeal. She's a happy, smiley, drooly little baby, and my heart breaks for what she had to deal with at the hands of her father. I will have to have a CPS case opened against me and her father for his neglect. I'm going to cooperate with them so it helps me gain as much physical and legal custody. I don't feel confident that when we divorce and he is granted some type of custody, this won't happen again. Since I called out both of my weekend shifts and Monday shift to go to social services, best believe I am applying for everything: SNAP, WIC, TANF, medical insurance, etc. I don't think I will have a job at Cracker Barrel much longer, but I literally took that job just to have a job. A couple of people messaged me with remote jobs that I might be able to get with my degree. Once we're settled in a shelter, I'm also hoping they will be able to help me find a decent job, hire an attorney that won't cost $5,000 for me to divorce my husband, and help me set up child support payments. He can all the way off into the sunset for all I care, but I didn't knock myself up by myself. So many of you were kind, offering me places to crash and support. I'm so thankful and cried a lot. A lot of you have been in my situation and gave me words of hope when I was feeling really, really down and dumb over my choices. I have a hotel room for the next 2 nights thanks to awesome people in this sub. We are going to a shelter on Monday where we can start rebuilding pieces of our lives, and honestly, I wouldn't shed a tear if my soon-to-be ex decides to just give up his parental rights, and I would not be surprised by him doing that. I've practically been a single parent for the past 9 weeks. What's another 18 years of doing it by myself? I literally left with the clothes on my back and a bag for us both to share, so the thought of just starting from scratch is terrifying, but I know that's what I have to do. A lot of people were worried about us and our safety, but we are safe. We are okay. For the most part, I still go back and forth from sadness to rage to feeling down and being angry at my 17-year-old self for thinking an older man would take care of me, and it turned out to be a bunch of lies. I have blocked my mother-in-law and soon-to-be ex, and I'm genuinely thinking of changing my phone number to cut off all communication with them both, unless I'm ordered by a court or something. I just want to wash my hands clean of him and pretend he doesn't exist. I can never trust him, or his mom really, again with my daughter. As someone who didn't grow up with a father, and it made my mom hate me because I looked like him, I have a very clear memory of her throwing a pot of water at me because I made a face that looked like my dad's. Part of me hurts for my daughter because I sure picked a shitty sperm donor for her, but she deserves so much better than him. I will post again on Monday for everyone once we are safe in a shelter. Top comment in here is, hey, former domestic violence advocate here. Can you file an emergency protective order? Also, if he was the main income, your divorce lawyer's fees can be put on him. Reach out to your local legal aid or do a free consult with a lawyer. You made some really hard choices. I hope you feel proud of protecting yourself and your baby. Leaving is the hardest/scariest part, but there is a beautiful, happier, safe life waiting for both of you on the other side of this. Hold your ground. You got this. And that's where we're at right now. This is really just in the past couple of days. So let's collectively send out all of the positive, healing, safe vibes that we can to OP and her baby here, and let her know that she's got a village of people who love her even though they don't know her here. This is absolutely bonkers. I let me check this real quick. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So good point by Candy Thunder here. A lot of talk in chat about people asking to donate or set up a GoFundMe. The awareness part of this story that we really want to hit on is absolutely, if you want to support this specific person, find the post, and other people were able to support her that way, so I think you'd be able to as well. It was Am I the Astronaut, AITAH, for losing it on my husband for not taking care of our newborn the whole time I was at work. That is the title of the story. But the awareness part of this for us is that this is happening all around us. Like we're hearing this one specific story, and yes, we want to help support this one specific person, but this is happening everywhere all the time. So we highly encourage you, if you want to donate to this kind of cause, to donate to your local shelters, because this is happening all around you. In every community, this is happening. This is happening everywhere. And there are the local resources that help people in these situations. They need support. So highly encourage you to look at that and to support in that direction. Of course, yeah, go hunt on OP's thread. People have found ways to help support. We're gonna hunt that down as well ourselves. But if you want to support the specific OP, go to the thread, find it that way. The larger message that we want to hammer home is that this is going on everywhere, all around us, all the time. And there are shelters, but like OP ran into here, they didn't have room immediately. What if they did? What if she was able to bounce out of there sooner? You know, and luckily she made the hard choice, and luckily there is a way, however difficult that path may be, to escape even when you have $6 to your name and have to grab one bag to share them between you, and you're starting over, like completely starting over. At least there is a way to make that happen. But getting to the point where she was able to even step outside the door and go took a lot. Not just logistically, mentally, emotionally. It took a lot to get to that point. But she was finally able to do it because she was able to do it making the decision for her daughter. And we talk about that a lot too. It's a lot easier to make a riskier move, a bolder move, when you're doing it in the defense of someone else rather than for yourself. But this shit is happening everywhere all the time. And it's heartbreaking for everyone involved. Well, not the abusive sons of bitches, the abusive people. I know there's some guys that get into that situation as well, but I do not understand. I still do not understand what his motive is, what his gain is. I don't understand what he's winning by doing this. I do not understand. Someone who has enough knowledge about these kind of situations, what is his end game? What is his goal? Is it just control and inflicting pain on other people? Or what is he trying to accomplish by doing this? I do not understand. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one is a little bit different because it comes from relationship advice and is titled, I, 39 male, was falsely accused of something by my wife's father, 67 male. How do we move forward? My in-laws, 60s, have a lake house. It has a ton of space. It's a frequent vacation spot and every holiday is done there. They've owned it since before I met my wife, 37 female. 4 years ago, we were all staying there when my wife's cousin, 37 female, got a very foul email. I won't go into what it said, but suffice to say, it made her cry. My father-in-law works in IT. He examined the headers and determined that the email originated from an Android phone and that it was off of the lake house Wi-Fi. My in-laws are Apple users. I'm an Android user. My father-in-law accused me in front of everyone of sending the message. I denied it, let him search my phone, and told him I would never do that. He found nothing but made a big show of telling me I had attacked his family and that I was banned from his home. He subsequently made a big post on Facebook about how he will always protect his family and how I had violated his home. Just because you use an Android phone? Really? My wife now goes there with our kids alone. I have not been there and I have not spoken with my in-laws in 4 years. We do holidays on a separate day together, and then on the holiday I go with my family and she takes the kids to the lake house. Yes, it sucks. When asked why I wasn't there, my father-in-law told the kids that I do bad things. Okay. All right, buddy. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't start weaponizing the children. Papa. Over 4th of July week, her cousin got another email from the same address. Once again, Android, and once again on the lake house Wi-Fi. This time, I was 200 miles away. Oh, what you got now, IT man? What you got now? Holy shit. Absolution. Dude. This time I was 200 miles away. Well, when they checked, the other cousin, first cousin's sister, and her kids had Androids. They were bored and sending prank emails, not realizing they could be traced. My wife called me up, relayed the story, and asked me if I could come down for the rest of the week with the family. I told her that I would love to, and to let me know what day everyone would be there for father-in-law to make a public apology to me. She got very quiet and said, they just want to move forward. I replied, I do too, and I will be happy to do so after your father publicly admits to the family that he was wrong, apologizes to me, apologizes to our children, and posts a public apology on Facebook. Yes. Good for you. Good for you. You don't get to make accusations like this and then just move past them whenever you realize you done up. You don't get to do damage and they'd be like, yeah, let's forget about that. You're good now. Come on in. Come and group hug. Group hug. Nope. Doesn't work like that, IT man. Doesn't work like that. My wife started crying and said he's not going to do that. I told her that I'm not going back to that lake house, that her father made it clear he doesn't consider me family, and until he makes it right, I am done with her entire family. He essentially wants to pretend like it never happened and make it look like he forgave me and welcomed me back. I am not on board with this. When they arrived back, I informed her that in the words of her father, I had to protect my family and our children would not be going back to the lake house either. Yes. My wife is devastated, begging me to forgive and move on. She says that her parents already feel awful and that they never said I wasn't family, and now I want to publicly shame and embarrass them. Oh, how the turntables. Oh yeah, it kind of sucks, huh? Yeah, kind of sucks being publicly shamed. But you know what the difference is? You guys did do this shit. You did do it. You shamed him for something he didn't even do. All you have to do is own up to something that you actually did, bitches. She says that it's not fair that I'm asking her to choose between me and her parents. Yeah, it is. I countered that. Her parents set up that choice 4 years ago, and she had already chosen. That's true. The next lake house trip is Labor Day weekend. I've already told her that I will be bringing the kids to my brother's that weekend for a barbecue and pool party. My wife has agreed to come with us, but she keeps bringing up the lake house and begging me to reconsider. It keeps ending up with my blood pressure spiking and her crying, so I've asked her to stop bringing it up. My wife and I do love each other very much. This is maybe like 5% of our relationship, but it's something that has been weighing on me, and I know it's driving a wedge between us. I have always felt that my wife chooses her parents over me. She says she's sorry that I feel that way, but it's not true. I told her that in 4 years, she didn't stand up for me because she didn't believe that I didn't do it. She vehemently denies this, saying that she's been trying to get her parents to let me come back since then. I don't want to unnecessarily shame her father, but making right the damage he did is non-negotiable. At the same time, my wife is crying every day. She's not eating, she's losing weight, and I know this is taking a tremendous toll on her. I don't want to be the reason that she has this much stress and anxiety. Damn it, boy, don't you waver. How do I address this with my wife without causing a confrontation? How can I ensure that my kids understand the situation without feeling caught in the middle? Top comment, I think confrontation is inevitable. It's 100% unacceptable that your wife has been letting her dad shit talk you to your own kids. That's flagrantly wrong. Also, it's enabling. I suppose your wife has a history of being steamrolled by him and is afraid of what he'll do if she stands up to him. Understandable. But that doesn't matter anymore. She's going to need to be a big girl and deal with her daddy. I can't believe she even kept seeing them after the Facebook post designed to embarrass and humiliate you. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You should make your own post one way or the other. I can understand why you're not seething with anger. This nonsense has to stop. I don't. Does the wife think that the show she's putting on, and maybe it's not a show, I'm sure she really is upset, but she must think that he's going to be easier to crack than her dad because she's unrelenting. She's not stopping. She's not respecting his boundaries here when he's like, look, this is it. This is what has to happen. There is no alternative. So drop it. But she won't. She keeps pushing and pushing and pushing after not advocating for him a single fucking time over the past 4 years. I'm 100% with OP here. 100% with OP. OP is NTA. I don't know. The only way that you move forward from this is that he apologizes or your wife accepts that her dad is a giant piece of shit who can't own up to his own mistakes, and they're big ones, and she lets them go and goes no contact until they apologize. That's it. That's the ticket, everybody. Right now, daddy doesn't have enough pain to create change. If his little girl is like, Daddy, I'm sorry, you have to apologize, or I'm not going to be around you ever again. You're not going to see your grandkids ever again. Because what you did was terrible. You do bad things. He doesn't just have to set this right with John Q. Public because of his Facebook bullshit and the entire family. He's got to have a deep conversation with the children in front of OP's husband, in front of OP, and explain to the kids how wrong he was and what he did. The amount of cleanup has to be greater than the amount of damage. Otherwise, there are crumbs left behind, are there not? There is no other way. She has to get to a point where she either is willing to do that and that forces daddy's hands, or he remains immobile and you don't have to deal with the asshat ever again. If he's willing to treat people like that with no more evidence than the operating system of the device, him all the way. He's a piece of shit. And your wife not being willing to stand up to him, I understand, and this commenter is probably right. She probably has a history of being steamrolled by him, and she's afraid of what would happen if she did stand up to him, but she's gonna have to. Should have done it 4 years ago. She also has to make a really big apology to you too, OP. Shit. What would you guys do in this? What would you do in this situation? Yeah, wife definitely needs to apologize as well. Has to. Hi there, it is Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITA and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Do a Favor / Help My Brother with an Element of His Wedding, which I already said I won't be attending. My brother is marrying someone who made my life hell through our entire teens. Starting at age 12 and continuing into college. Unfortunately, we were in the same one. She was like 20 before she stopped bullying me, and she went out of her way to do it in college too, going as far as almost stalking me over it. She almost got thrown out of college, which might have been what stopped her in the end. I was able to avoid her for the rest of college and didn't see her again for a few more years. My brother is a year older and knew about all the stuff she put me through, as did our parents. So when he brought this girl home as his girlfriend a couple of years ago, I was so hurt. My sister asked him what he was thinking and how could he do that to me. He said she grew up and that's allowed and we should be willing to give her a shot. I walked out. My parents and brother were upset at my refusal to give her a chance and asked why I wanted to hurt our family. Wait, what the f***? Hold on. Hold on! When people say hypocritical things that should be said to them, red flag, right? They meaning parents and brother, asked why OP wanted to hurt our family. I'm sorry, is it I who am inflicting doom-level pain on this family, or is it you that walked in hand with my bizzo bully that made my life a living hell? Who's bringing the harm into the room here, huh? Also, red flag for your parents being okay with this shit. They knew what she did. And still, they're like, oh, you should give her a chance. Why are you trying to inflict pain on this family? You selfish little shit. They didn't say that part, but it felt right. They said my sister walked out after calling this girl all sorts of names and making it clear that she saw her as trash and someone who couldn't be a good person. She also called our brother out for having no family loyalty and said his dick is clearly all he really cares about. Hey-o, sis for taking this stand and being the only person to stand behind OP here, unlike Cassie from Love Island. My relationship with my brother and parents hardly exists now. I've seen them 4 times since that day. They've reached out via phone, but I made it clear I have no desire to mend things with that girl, and I saw it as a betrayal toward me to accept her and expect me to treat her as family. My sister has stood by me. She is also mostly estranged from our parents and brother. The last time I saw them was in June, at a family birthday party. During a quiet moment, my brother told me he was getting married and our parents were standing by to jump in. I told him to save himself the money inviting me because I won't be attending and walked away. Hold up. There's more to the story, but the parents chose one of their children's bully over that child and another daughter. They didn't just choose their son here. They chose someone who made their child's life a living hell over that child and another child, and see no problems with this and are all for there being a wedding. Okay. 0 is greater than -1. You don't have that family anymore, OP. So this is where the issue comes in. The most popular local florist is my best friend's mom, and she's known to have a special package for friends and family for weddings, etc. One piece in particular she only does for people she's close to. My brother and his fiance want her to be the florist for their wedding, and they want the bonuses of the special package, but they do not have a good relationship with her. However, I do. So my brother called me up. I ignored his call. So he sent a text message asking me to do a favor and ask about the special package for them. I said no and told him to leave me alone. He reached out again and asked. My parents then got involved. I told them I wanted nothing to do with this wedding and would never help make the day special for them. I was told I had taken all of this too far and a small favor should not be such a big deal, that I am destroying these relationships and will one day regret it over something so small. Am I the astronaut? Fuck your parents. Okay, let me get this right. They said how many years of your life? 12 into college. 8 years. So let's call it 8 years. They're saying that 8 years of your life being hell is such a small thing. What I would do is call my bestie, the florist's daughter, and be like, hey, you remember that bitch? The one who, the bully. Yeah, exactly. Did you hear that my idiot dickhead of a brother is marrying that bitch? Oh, you did hear. Okay. Oh, they've already called. Okay. Well, look, they're calling me, asking me to try to leverage my relationship with you to get them a deal. And there's no way in hell that's happening. I'm actually calling you to achieve the opposite. Would you please talk to your mother and make sure that she doubles every price that she has when they come calling? The only way I would reach out to the florist friend is in that capacity, to be like, hey, just a heads up, they're trying this shit. If anything, double, triple, quadruple, I don't care. This woman is the devil. The devil. Give her the devil discount. It's 5 times higher prices. Congratulations on your wedded bliss. Comment here is NTA, but it might be worth it to call the florist if you're close enough and say you're not referring your brother for any special deal for his wedding if he calls and says that you are. If this sheds your brother in a worse light to the florist, it would be a real shame if she decided she couldn't do the flowers for the wedding at all, just saying. I'm a little more petty apparently, because I say, not just that, inflate that shit. Inflate it. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one should be a fun one because it comes from Petty Revenge. Hell yes, let's go. Let's have some fun. Title of this one is, I Let Him Cheat So I Can Watch Him Fail. Okay. This was years ago, but it still brings a smile to my face at times. Back in school, a handful of students, including myself, missed a major test due to extracurriculars. The teacher already arranged for us to take the test in a back room during regular class session. There was a guy, let's call him Eric, who was the typical F-boy who behaved like he was all that in a bag of chips. Rude, obnoxious, and didn't talk once to me until that hour in the testing room. Back at school, I was mostly quiet. If RBF was a thing back then, I would have been the poster child for it. I was known to be a bit nerdy, so it wasn't a surprise when he sat right next to me, chatting it up. He went on to tell me how I looked like I could be the Victoria's Secret model, and I was one of the prettiest girls in school and blah, blah, blah. He then asked if he could copy my answers. I smiled and said, sure, give me 5 minutes and I'll show you my answer sheet. He grinned and twirled around in his seat, fidgeting with his pencil, making absolutely no effort in taking the test. I look up and whisper, done, hurry and copy. With no hesitation, he hurriedly copies my work. I told him to walk away first so it wouldn't be suspicious. He did. As he was leaving, he did a weird salute and laughed at the other students still taking the exam. As soon as that door shut, I erased the answers I gave him and filled in the correct answers. I turned my work in shortly after. The teacher said she would take a week to grade them. During that week, Eric didn't say hi to me at all. When he did look in my direction, he would elbow his friend to laugh at me. I couldn't wait until he got his results. The day finally came. The teacher handed us back our grade test, and the way he stood up and shocked, shouting, an F, and ran over to me to see my A+ grade was. He definitely stopped laughing at me after that. OP, even as a teen, knew how to reverse Uno. I am so proud, like a proud papa. That is fantastic, and we'll give you the glitchy petty confetti for this. I still need to replace this animation. We'll give you the glitchy petty confetti for this because that's just flipping awesome. It's fantastic. It's great. I love it. That is fantastic, and what a great lesson this douche canoe learned too, right? You don't with a smart kid because they'll out smart you dipshit. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Hey Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one also comes from Petty Revenge. We're having all kinds of fun now. The title of this story is Guy with his big SUV for sale cuts me off, so I call him early. This took place many years ago, but it's a very fresh memory. Wife and I were shopping at IKEA, and when leaving, a giant SUV with a for sale sign and a phone number scribbled on it cut us off in traffic. It was blatant, and we had to hit the brakes hard to avoid hitting them. I asked my wife to take a picture of the phone number, and she did. So each day for the next 2 weeks, I would call the number to ask questions about the vehicle once I got to work. Here's where it gets petty. I get to work at 5:30 a.m., so for the 9 weekdays I get every other Friday off, I called the number at 5:30 a.m. from a phone far from my office in a common area. There's no way to tie the calls back to me as there were many of us arriving around that time too. They stopped answering after 3 days, but I kept calling. Again, glitchy animation time. Let's go. That is fantastic. And what a way to swing back at somebody in traffic. You know what? Like this is why I took my buddy Smoots's advice, who is not in chat tonight, but normally is. When first thinking about getting some kind of like vinyl wrap or signage on a vehicle for our day gig for the agency for Storm Cloud Marketing, and he was like, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And this is why. Not because we drive like idiots, but if there was ever an instance where you needed to maneuver or something, you're advertising how people could contact you and tell you what a shitty driver or how pissed off they are at you, whatever. But we see so many people around here with their business wrap on their vehicle, still driving like assholes, cutting people off, just giving zero. It's hilarious. Or if they've got their freaking Insta handle or TikTok handle like on their car as they're being idiots too. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are you thinking here? And yeah, there are a lot of idiot drivers. People just, they just don't care. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm to the point in life where Candy Thunder and I are both here. We're like, it's driving aggressively achieves nothing except putting people in danger. You're going to get to that stoplight at the same time I am. I'm going to roll up behind you and be like, good job. It's a good thing you cut 4 people off to get there faster and put everybody in danger. Good job, pal. Good job. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.